Well, 1/3 of the U.S. dollar is spent on eating out at restaurants, according to the United States Department of Agriculture. Some of that money, though, might be coming out of your pocket, but your stomach is left a little empty. Channel 7's Elicia Dover has been crunching the numbers and explaining why your tax dollars being spent on restaurants and catering for government employees might be hard to digest.
Oh, that's right. And state agencies spent thousands of dollars last year on restaurants and catering. It turns out you're the one left holding the bill, and you didn't even get to taste the meal.
Did you know there's a website where you can view how government agencies are spending your tax dollars? It's called Transparency Arkansas. The website breaks down how nearly every dollar is spent. It was created by law in 2011.
We live at a time when there's just a lot more information available to people, and there's an expectation among consumers and among the citizens of Arkansas that this sort of information be out there.
While conducting government business certainly comes at a price, multiple government agencies are spending your tax dollars on restaurants and catering meals. I crunched the numbers using the data from the Transparency Arkansas website. Here's the method. I didn't count funds spent on cafeteria operations or regular office amenities like coffee. Also not adding in the hundreds of food expenditures at grocery stores. Simply adding up what was spent at restaurants and catering. It turns out some have a bigger appetite than others. The Department of Career Education Rehabilitation Services spending more than $15,000 on restaurants and catering last year, according to the website. The Highway Department spending more than $20,000. The biggest appetites we found, the Department of Human Services and the Department of Health, both spending nearly $40,000 on restaurants and catering last year. On the Transparency Arkansas website, there were some exquisite dining charges that stuck out, like a $3,000 charge at Cajun's Wharf from the Highway Department, a meal for their engineering interns orientation. Nearly $4,000 spent by DHS at 42, renting the facility and catering a meal for a one-day meeting on aging. DHS also spending $1,000 for a lunch at Brave New Restaurant, winner of many awards including Best Upscale Dining. A spokesperson says it was a thank you lunch for volunteers paid for with a grant. The Arkansas Economic Development Commission spending more than $1,300 at high-end Restaurante Capello, a monthly meeting with $40 beef tenderloin and $30 duck valentine and veal scallopini.
Prime steaks, fresh seafood.
And spending more than $1,000 at River Grill Steakhouse for another monthly meeting. A Department of Workforce Services charge at this local beer brewing company certainly flowing to the top of the list. When asked about the charge last March, the employee said he accidentally used the wrong card and paid them back. Just about every charge I inquired about had some kind of meeting or training attached. Government workers leaving with maybe some more industry knowledge and definitely a full belly. Most of the restaurant and catering charges were not five-star dining, but smaller $500 at a time charges on sandwiches, barbecue, and nearly $5,000 spent last year across agencies on pizza. Your tax dollars being ingested over a meeting. It also seems the agencies tasked with handling and monitoring money are also the leanest. The Department of Finance and Administration, only $200 spent on catering for the whole year. The Auditor's Office with a minimal cafeteria charge. The Treasurer's Office, only $200 on some sandwiches and barbecue. There are also many agencies spending less than $500 a year on restaurants and catering, including the Department of Veterans Affairs, spending no money whatsoever on eating.
All right, Elicia, interesting report there. Tell me who you have heard from since this first aired.
Well, I've heard back from the Department of Health and I've heard back from the Highway Department on, do they want to make any changes to their spending? Both of those departments feel that their spending is all very justified and that they spend the money they need on training and on meetings.
And you are doing some follow-up on this. You are obviously, you expressed that there's some trouble in terms of how to navigate the website. It's a little difficult to do that.
Yeah, that's right. The Transparency Arkansas website, while it gives you a window into what's being spent, actually getting an explanation for those charges is a completely different story. One thing I noticed is that there's no date for any of these expenditures. So when you go to make a FOIA request about, a charge, they say, do you have a date? No, I'm sorry, you have to search 12 months of records. So that's a problem.
Maybe we'll see some legislative changes to that process as well as to the process of the expenses there. Great work, and I'm looking forward to seeing your future reporting on it.
Thanks.